What's up, Dr. Bowden? How are you?
Hello, hello.
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm great on
Yeah.
this Tuesday evening.
Tuesday evening, you are filling in for Dr. Tiffany.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie, those are big shoes. Everybody loves Dr. Tiff, but I think once everybody gets to hearing you speak, I think they're going to love you just as much. And all of a sudden, Dr. Tiff might have realized that she can't call in sick on us anymore. Otherwise,
That's right. You'll get me.
I'm just teasing. Um, well, Dr. Bowden, we're just now getting to know each other. So, hey, trial by fire, right? Dr. Tiffany highly recommends you. In all seriousness, to everybody who's listening right now, Dr. Tiffany is on vacation. How dare her take a vacation? She's enjoying some time away. She's actually in Italy. Totally jealous. And in her absence, she has asked Dr. Bowden to fill in for her. She mentioned at the end of last week's live stream that she trusts Dr. Bowden immensely. And so we're going to trust Dr. Bowden as well. And I've had a couple of conversations with Dr. Bowden, and I do as well. So with that in mind, welcome to the Jim and Tiff. I think I just named it that. Jim and Tiff live stream? Did I
I
just
like it. I
the Jim
like it.
and Tiff live stream? Barbecue Jim, Dr. Tiff. But I think Jim and Tiff has a ring. How about the Jim and Tiff? And welcome to this live stream with special guest Dr. Bowden filling in for Dr. Tiffany Marie. Guys, my name is Jim Grasser, and I'm a professional competitive barbecue cook. And I was a very sick human being. I had a 12.2% A1C and some really, really obnoxious cholesterol levels. Dr. Bowden, I don't even know if you know this or not, if you've heard this or not, but I had an LDL that was 459.
Wow.
I had a total cholesterol of 565
Mm.
and a triglycerides of 561. They were just awful. My numbers were absolutely awful. And I have a friend of mine that is a distributor for Unicity, and she told me about this product. I'm not going to lie. I went into it as an extreme skeptic. And when I say extreme skeptic, I thought this was absolutely a gimmick. If it weren't for if it weren't for the fact that I trust my friend, she was a bridesmaid in my wedding almost 30 years ago. I've known her for a very long time, and she just so happens to be a rocket scientist. I actually do trust what she says. And she said, "Hey, Jim, I think this stuff might actually be able to help you." And in my mind, I was like, she used the word, a lot of people are reversing type 2 diabetes. And I thought, don't say stupid things. Don't say stupid things. You can't do that. And I got on this. I started it January 4th of last year. On February 16th, I got a call from my doctor that said I could quit taking my medications. It was 43 days.
Awesome.
It was 43 days. On April 20th, that same doctor said I could quit taking my cholesterol lowering medications. All my cholesterol numbers normalized. It has completely changed my life. And I decided to go to TikTok specifically, but to social media and start talking about it and telling people about it. And over the last year and a half, I've had a lot of people try the product. And I've had a lot of people now talking about it themselves. And so we bring in guests every single week. Dr. Tiffany is the same way. In her place is Dr. Bowden. Dr. Bowden, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us something about you? Who is Dr. Bowden?
All righty. Well, I am a doctor, a naturopathic doctor. I've been in healthcare for 30 plus years, nursing and managing multiple family medicine practices. Uh, I just wanted more for the people, after seeing people come through the clinic with, just being diagnosed with multiple things and prescriptions and things like that. I just wanted more. And I did not want to be the person to have to diagnose someone or prescribe someone with some prescription medications. So I just researched because I know, healthcare is a broad field. So I researched and found naturopathic medicine. I fell in love with that approach. And as I worked full time, I went to school and got my designation as a naturopathic doctor, and then continued on from there. Got my PhD in natural medicine. Uh, resigned from allopathic and went full-time health and wellness. So here I am now in health and wellness. So I've been doing that for about 12 years now, full-time for 4 years. How I heard about Unicity was from a friend, Warlisa, who is a health coach. She asked me if I knew about Unicity. She was like, it's like the natural form of those shots that people are taking. And I'm like, well, no, I haven't heard about it. She was like, well, read about Yerba Mate. Read about Yerba Mate. So I researched and read about Yerba Mate. I decided to try it for myself, became a member, ordered it. So I've been on it for about a couple of years now. Not a couple of years, a couple of months now. And I've lost about 12 pounds within these couple of months, feeling pretty good. Some things that I did not realize was happening. I believe Dr. Tiff actually brought it to my attention. Like I wasn't a person that was like fatigue or low energy type thing. But when I was traveling last week, I wasn't as consistent as I had been within the past couple of months. And so I did notice, some difference in the way I felt. And then also some occurrences with some ankle swelling and things like that. But once I got back on track, those things have improved. So I am loving Unicity, and I recommend it to all of my clients.
I love that. I love that. What I love about that story, first off, I'm going to break this down a little bit. So 30 years you've been in the healthcare field. You've been dealing with sick people for 30 years. And about 12 years ago, you decided to jump over from traditional medicine over to more of a holistic functional path. That's accurate, right?
That's accurate.
And then 4 years ago, you said, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to work. And you've been helping people now deal with what's historically been considered chronic and progressive for, that's what you do, is help them see the light.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And coming across this product a couple of months ago, now you're seeing the light.
Yes. Love Unicity.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to kind of break that down into small bite-sized little pieces, right? Okay. So what we love to do here is, guys, get ready for an awesome live stream. Well, first off, this is an amazing live stream. If you're just now joining us for the first time ever, buckle up. This is a great one. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's educational. We're going to bring in some amazing guests, people who have found us by way of social media, just like maybe you did. If you've been tagged into this live stream, as in somebody's invited you in by Facebook, they can tag you. If you're joining by YouTube share or something like that, just get with the person who shared this live stream with you, and they will tell you how to order the product. Okay? It's that easy. Whoever shared it with you thinks that this message could be beneficial for you. So if you decide you want to try the product, just get with that person. They'll tell you how to order it. They get a product discount for referring the product out. So it's kind of cool that you use their link. They'll get a product discount. And then if you start having that amazing experience and you want to share the product as well, start inviting people to this live stream and doing the exact same thing. Also, if you are one of the people who's just joining this live stream because, hey, I'm having an amazing experience, and you want to tag some friends of yours, to do so, all you do is hit that little @ symbol. I wish I knew what the name was. Do you know what the name of that is, Dr. Bowden?
No, I think just what you just said, the @ symbol.
That little @ symbol thing.
Yep.
Just do that little @ symbol thing and start typing their name. And as you type their name, they'll pop up, and you just hit enter. Oh, tag. And they will get an invite. And they'll see this live stream, and just tell them, hey, I just tagged you in a live stream. Come and join it. Maybe they'll watch it tomorrow. Maybe they'll watch it next week. Maybe they'll watch it next month. But when you tag them, they'll see it. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to encourage everybody that's listening to tag 5 people. Tag or share this with 5 different people. We are live on a lot of different social media platforms. Dr. Bowden, what platforms? We're on your Facebook, correct?
Facebook, yes.
Okay, and are people will follow you on your Facebook? And if so, what is your page?
Jeannisa Bowden.
Jeannisa.
2 N's, Jeannisa. Bowden.
Bowden.
Yes.
You can also find Dr. Tiffany Marie, my typical co-host, Dr. Tiffany Marie, by searching for Dr. Tiffany Marie. Dr. Tiff has a page on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. She's in the comment section right now. So maybe Dr. Tiff, if I missed anything, add in whatever other pages you're on, but Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then you can find me on all of those plus more by searching for the Healthy Pitmaster. Share these live streams with anybody that you know could benefit from it. So I'm going to encourage everybody to tag 5 people. Okay, with that in mind, I want to jump, Dr. Bowden. Dr. Tiff and I, about 3 weeks ago, decided that, you know what, we were going to just open this thing up with a testimonial. Right away, we're just going to start with a testimonial and bring somebody in. And I'm going to do just that. We're going to bring in Michelle. Hi, Michelle. So, guys, this is Michelle Morgan, and I've had the great pleasure of getting to know Michelle, and I say that very loosely. Great pleasure of getting to know her husband, Lance. Really good guy. Just teasing. I've gotten to know Michelle over the last year. Michelle, you know, my favorite question when we're talking is, how did we meet? Where were you at when we met? Where are you at now?
So I worked from home at the time, and I was a hospital coordinator for a very large hospital, home health and hospice company. And so I was scrolling TikTok. I was trying to find something to listen to, like a live. But all I kept finding was debates about various touchy subjects. And I just kept scrolling, and then saw this dude, and he said insulin, and I scrolled past him, and I thought, wonder what he's talking about. And so I went back and I listened for a very long time. When I saw that live stream, I had just got the final appeal decision from my insurance company for a GLP-1. My neurosurgeon wanted me to start taking Manjaro. I didn't even know what it was, you know, and then when I started looking into it, it was like, it was a diabetes medication. I had no idea the implications of weight loss, and he kind of explained it to me, and I thought, because of the way it's marketed, I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for. You know, I've had 2 consultations for gastric sleeve, and the thing is I love food. And that's not very popular to go into those doctors and tell them that you love food. I like to travel. A huge part of other cultures is their food. And I didn't want to be limited in what I was eating. So I also didn't have $10,000 to drop down on a surgery because my insurance for years would not cover it. And so when I met Jim, I just started listening, and I thought, after a little while, I had no idea what he was talking about. I mean, I knew what insulin was. I didn't even actually, this is how ignorant it was to my body, didn't even actually know that it was a hormone. And I didn't know the frequency of my eating. And even though I didn't eat super unhealthy, I still wasn't making the smartest decisions because I wasn't armed with the right information. And when I met Jim that day, everything changed. I sat there and thought to myself, is a random dude, professional pitmaster barbecue guy on TikTok, explaining to me what I've been begging my doctors to explain to me, why I can't lose weight. And I weighed 400 pounds. I didn't actually admit that to Jim or anybody. It's not something you want to admit. I thought 300 something sounded better. And so anyway, so that's when I met Jim, was TikTok. My weight loss journey started long before I even realized. And that's probably what kept the symptoms of insulin resistance being so prevalent. But from what I know now, to this would go back to probably when puberty began in early teens, as probably when I became insulin resistant. And it had to do with the frequency of eating and what we were eating. My mom was a good cook, but just we're Southern, meat, potatoes, and bread, starches and stuff like that. I'm sorry, my dog's barking. And so the real turning point in my health crisis was almost 17 years ago. And I was in so sorry. My husband must be home. I was in a very bad car accident. And so the airbag saved my life, but really messed me up. And then also just the car wreckage. And I was in and out of rehab facilities for about 2.5 years, different parts of my body. I've tried every conservative treatment out there, from decompressive therapy to all the different injections in various parts of my body. Nothing worked. Finally, the end result is I just have to have multiple surgeries to repair this. In that time is when my weight ballooned. I was 29 at the time. I was very active. I still played competitive softball 3 to 4 nights a week. I was actually on my way to the gym when this happened. But over the next 2 decades, life happened, divorce happened, 3 very traumatic events in my life, some overeating, some stress eating, and some emotional eating. Not all the time, just periods and bouts of that. It wasn't a constant in my life, but it is also what led to me being 400 pounds. When you weigh 400 pounds, you are not happy. There is that expression being, love the skin that you're in. It's BS. Nobody wants to be 400 pounds or 300 pounds. Nobody, we fake it until we make it. You can love yourself, but nobody's happy weighing that much. I didn't love myself. I actually loathed myself. Loathed the fact that every diet I tried failed because I thought I was weak, because I didn't understand what insulin resistance was doing to my body and why it made it difficult. Literally, I could not lose weight because of it. And so when you go to a doctor and, whether it be my neurosurgeon doctors or doctors, my orthopedic doctors, or just my regular doctor, any doctor, most of them always want to comment about your weight and tell you to diet and exercise. They don't take the time to explain to you why. They don't take the time to explain to you what's happening, why you can't lose weight. You were literally just made to feel bad about yourself. And I won't say all of them, but I will say the majority of the doctors that I've dealt with in the last 2 decades are like that. And you're already hard on yourself. You don't love yourself. You wonder why your spouse loves you, because you don't love you. And you know what you look like. And it's very difficult because as women, we internalize it. And it's a lot different than men. Men can gain weight and, they're just distinguished or something. Women gain weight and it's like the end of the world. And we feel that because the world we live in is just fake. It's photoshopped. And it's plastic and it's not real life. And somehow from young girls, if we're being honest, trying to strive to meet something that's not attainable is difficult. And after years and years and years of being a woman and having to deal with this since you were a kid, like it takes a huge mental toll. And so when I started this journey, I weighed 400.6 pounds. I had extreme IBS to epic proportions. I would go to the bathroom 8, 9, 10 times a day. It affected my life. It affected travel. It affected what I did. It affected eating out. It was horrible. I didn't sleep. I was in chronic pain and inflammation. My blood pressure was creeping up. My A1C was 5.6, so it was literally as close to being pre-diabetic as you can get it. My brain fog, I was so scared that I'm 45 now. Last year, I was 43, turning 44, and I literally thought I was getting early onset dementia. It scared the hell out of me, to be quite honest with you. That's how bad my brain fog was. And depression, I had some pretty severe situational depression, and now that I'm on the other end of it, it was very bad. You're talking not wanting to get out of bed, not showering like you should. And I can talk about it now, and I want to talk about it because I want anybody listening right now to know that you are not alone. I don't care if you ate your way into where you're at. I don't care if you're severely depressed. I don't care about all of that. I want you to know that you're not alone. And I have felt that way. So when I started this protocol, what Jim gave me was hope, and armed with a 90-day money-back guarantee. I thought, what do I have to lose but my desperation and hopefully weight, right? Because I knew this wasn't a weight loss protocol, but all of these people had lost. The Jim's reverses diabetes, and people had reversed PCOS, and people had lost all this weight. And I thought, this has got to be the answer that I've prayed for. And it was. And now I've lost 100 pounds in 13 months. I've lost over 100 inches. Some days, sorry.
Guy, you're making me tear up here, guy.
Some days it's hard for me to see. I just saw our friend Emery that Jim was talking about last week in Provo, and she's like, oh my gosh, you look so great. The fact is, I still weigh 300 pounds. And so, not discounting what I've done, but, it just goes back to that same, mental trauma that you've put yourself through all of these years. And so I recently took a picture, and I shared that picture with Jim. I never thought I would share any of those pictures with Jim. And it really put into perspective what I've actually accomplished in the last 13 months. So if you're listening to this, and whatever your health reasons, whatever the reason is, you're on the fence, get with the person who tagged you in this. They will help you. I just want to take the time to thank Jim on behalf of all of us whom he has helped. His 1% mission to change lives and partnering with Unicity has impacted hundreds of people, including me. Our friend Ro says that this protocol, these 3 little packets, coupled with intermittent fasting, is life-giving. And Jim, you've changed so many lives, including mine, so thank you.
You've done all this work, Michelle. I have that new picture, but before I don't want to show that picture without your permission. So is that an okay picture?
Show the picture. I want people to understand.
Okay, I'm going to add. I didn't think to do that beforehand because I didn't think you were going to let me do that. But since you brought it up, okay. So let's see. Bear with me a second. Keep on talking for a moment while I.
Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. I've learned a lot on this journey. I've learned a lot about metabolic health and my own body. I've learned so much that I am now proud to say that I help Jim. We work together to help other people. This is the most rewarding thing because I'm thanking Jim, but people thank me in the same way. So I know it's a bit weird when people tell you those things because I have the same feeling about it. And yeah, we do the work, but the thing is if you weren't on TikTok and you weren't talking about all those studies and all that science, I wouldn't have understood what's wrong with me because doctors have not told me for decades. And I have hope. I have still 120 pounds to lose, but it's possible, and it's working, and I know it works. It takes time. It's not an overnight thing, and you have to understand that. And you have to understand that this is not a weight loss protocol. It is a get your metabolic health back where it needs to be. And in that process, the weight comes off, the inches come off, but you can't expect it to be overnight. There's no easy button in our health. It took us a lot of years and probably decades for most of us to get sick. And it's going to take some time for us to heal ourselves. You just have to stay the course and understand you're going to have way more non-scale victories than you're going to have that number on the scale change. But it will change.
I'm sorry. I am trying to figure this out right now.
Did you email it to yourself?
Nope, I've got it. Yes, I did. I did. You got to forgive me. I am clumsy. Okay, here we go, though. I think I got it. There it is.
So the picture on the left is the day that I started. And I took that for myself, determined I would never show a person on the planet that picture. That is miserable. That is self-loathing. It's a lot of self-hate, no self-love whatsoever. That is, you wake up in a fat suit every day and you don't recognize yourself. And I took this last week at my best friend's house. And while I'm still fluffy in certain areas, you can definitely, when we tell you that it burns belly fat, there's no better representation, in my opinion, than showing this picture. And that's why I have decided to share it, because I think people need to see that.
I think that's a powerful image. It's a crazy powerful image. Okay, so I want to talk to that a little bit. I love your story. I've heard your story quite a few times now, and I think you give me entirely too much credit. I just showed you something. You did it. You've done all of the work, and it's amazing. And I love the fact that you're sharing the story now. Keep on doing that. Guys, let me just point out, Michelle, do you mind hanging out kind of backstage, if you will?
No.
At the end of the live stream, I'm going to bring you back in. I'm going to bring you back into the live stream so that if anybody has any questions directly of you, they'll be able to ask you a question. Is that cool? Yeah. You are an absolute rock star. Guys, give her love. I know that I didn't expect her to say that I could share that picture. So I didn't have it ready. I normally like to be ready. I didn't have it ready. Dr. Bowden, what the heck? How did that work? How did that work? Why? Okay, what's the problem? Let's start with that. And actually, give me a second, because I had to unshare the screen that we had prepped. There it is. Okay, I'm ready when you are. What's the problem? Educate us, Dr. Bowden. How did that work for her?
All right, Jim, we're going to get into it and tell everyone what the problem is. And you can go to the next screen there, because I believe everyone know me now.
Yeah. Let me find it real quick. Oh, dang it. These are technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. Got it. Next screen. Got it.
Yeah, guys, we've had a hard time with this PowerPoint, but me and Jim, I think we've got it together now, right?
Yes.
All right. So the problem, diabetes in the United States. So About 30.3 million people have diabetes. Okay. 1 out of 10. 30.3 is 1 out of 10. And then 1 out of 4 don't even know they have diabetes. Next slide. 84.1 million people, that's 1 out of 3 adults, have pre-diabetes. That's 9 out of 10 that do not even know they have it, Jim.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is the problem. How diabetes affect our health? So type 2 diabetes affect many major organs, including your heart, blood vessels, nerves. Go to the next screen, Jim.
Yep.
Your eyes and your kidneys. These are also factors that increase the risk of diabetes, other serious chronic diseases. Go to the next screen, Jim. So along with the ones I just named, there's also skin conditions, and I love it when Dr. Tiffany says, the ring around your neck isn't dirt.
Right.
That's insulin resistance, and that go along with the skin tags and things that we also see. There's also slow healing. There's hearing impairment and sleep apnea. Next screen. Metabolic health is a global concern. It affects people of all nations, affects people of all ages. But the good news about this is many metabolic health conditions can be reversed naturally. So some people, next screen, Jim, some people don't know what naturopathic or holistic healthcare is, and that is what I specialize in, is holistic healthcare. We focus on getting to the root cause of things. So it's not just your symptoms. We focus on you, the whole person, and finding the root cause of those symptoms. If you're looking at this circle here on the screen, you may identify with one or more than these conditions that are on here, or you know someone that do. In the center of here is insulin resistance. This is the root cause of all of these conditions you see here. Next screen. So what is insulin resistance? So we holistic people love to educate also. Just like Michelle just said, they didn't explain to her what these things are. This is where we come in as holistic or naturopathic doctors. We love to educate. So again, what is insulin resistance? And the short answer that I put here for you: your cells don't respond and don't allow insulin to do its job. That's insulin resistant in a nutshell. But then to break it down, insulin resistant is a complex condition in which your body does not respond as it should to insulin. Insulin is a hormone your pancreas makes that's essential for regulating blood sugar levels. Several genetic and lifestyle factors can contribute to insulin resistance. So under normal circumstances, insulin functions in the following steps. Your body breaks down the food you eat into glucose, or layman terms, sugar, which is your body's main source of energy. Glucose enters your bloodstream, which signals your pancreas to release the insulin. Insulin helps glucose in your blood enter your muscles, fat, and liver cells so they can use it for energy or store it for later use. When glucose enters your cells and the levels in your bloodstream decrease, it signals your pancreas to stop producing insulin. What causes insulin resistance? Too much insulin in the bloodstream. What causes too much insulin? The things we eat and drink. So, our schedules sometimes, it's like a go, 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 go kind of schedule. So what do? We run out to the fast food restaurants. We get I don't, because I don't like McDonald's anymore, but we get our burgers and our fries and our Coke. Those are high carbs, high sugar things, spikes that sugar up, does not give it time, and then all of a sudden it drops you, and the we call it the itis, the sleepitis kicks in. It doesn't your cells or your body isn't given insulin time to do what it does. It's not balancing things out. So as we continue to do this over time, the cells can't the insulin begins to float around in the blood, and so those cells are just, I can't take anymore, I can't take anymore. So that's that insulin resistance kicking in. Next slide, Jim. What is, I think you went one too far.
Oh, I did. Right. I'm sorry.
What is metabolic health? How well your body can make and use energy from your food, helping your cells function at full capacity. Now, the next slide. What's driving this health crisis? So we have two things working here together. You got the modern food environment, and then we have big pharma. So in short, the food industry is making us sick with the highly processed and addictive foods, and the pharmaceutical industry benefits from treating us for it. Instead of solving the problem causing a sick nation, they encourage it and thrive from masking the root cause of one of our society's biggest health problems. Don't know if you all read labels, but label reading is a benefit that everyone should start doing. I mean, look at those labels. You may have little to no fiber in your foods. The foods are processed in such a way that it makes us crave and want to come back for more. So we continuously eating. I believe Michelle says she loved food, and so to speak. These are the things that the food industry make us. They want us to crave those things. So they've processed and removed the needed nutrients that the body need in order to balance all of these conditions that we're having. That portion that keeps us balanced has been removed from the food. So there you got that cycle. The food and the pharma, the food and the pharma. And then in the middle of that, all of these health conditions that we're having. Next slide. So now finally we have something simple. Our approach. Feel Great is designed to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The Feel Great approach is simple. Michelle had the little packets in her hand. I thought I had my packets right here in front of me, but you have a snapshot there in front of you. Jim got it? Jim, you got the 2 packets? All right. 2 simple packets there. 2 simple packets. And I'm not going to get into a lot of the steps there because I believe Jim is going to come back and go through that with us on the end there. But just to let you know, this is not a program or a diet. We've all fell into the trap, or most of us have, of the various programs and fad diets that come along. We've all tried them. They've worked. And then what happened? We got tired of it and we quit, right? So this isn't a program. This isn't a diet. This is a system. So here are some things that we can immediately do. Small changes do make big differences. Daily hydration. We should be drinking half of our body weight in ounces. But I tell people as they're working up to that, don't drink no less than 64 ounces daily. Now, tap water is my pet peeve. So stay away from tap water, people. Stay away from tap water. Spring water, that water that's processed by osmosis. Okay, no tap water. We should be eating real food. When you look at your ingredients, the food should be the ingredients. If there's other stuff there, it's processed. They've just added fillers in there. We should be eating whole, fresh fruits and vegetables, lean meats, grass-fed meats. Again, reading those labels, that meat should be free from hormones and antibiotics. We should be eating wild-caught fish. We should be avoiding processed carbs, refined sugar, junk foods, processed foods, getting adequate sleep, exercise. And here I put FSA because exercise sound like work to me. So I like fun, sweaty activities. Okay.
I like that, FSA.
Yeah, fun, sweaty activities. Any movement is good movement. Okay, get the body moving. All right. Uh-oh. Give me a second here. My screen went out. My screen went out, Jim, here.
Did it? Well, we could pick up from here. I could pick up from here.
All righty, take it over.
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to. Anyway, let's do this. So the next steps would be the product and the process. So what is the process? The process combines 16 and 8 intermittent fasting, time-based eating schedule. So out of a 24-hour day, we don't eat for 16 hours. And what that does is at about 12 to 14 hours of intermittent fasting, your body metabolically switches its fuel source from glucose over to fat. And when we're no longer using glucose, your insulin is down. And when your insulin levels, in the absence of insulin, maybe the doctor could help me out with wording this, but I think I got it right. In the absence of insulin, the fat cell must shrink. In the presence of insulin, the fat cell has to grow. And so when we're fasting at about 12 to 14 hours, your glucose levels are so low, the insulin levels go low, the fat cell shrinks. So at about 12 to 14 hours, we start that fat burning process. The other thing you do at that 12 to 14 hours is you are really resensitizing, if you will, the cell to the insulin. Now, during that fast, we're sleeping. The majority of our fast, we're sleeping. When we wake up in the morning, you drink a Unamate tea. The Unamate tea is a highly concentrated yerba mate extract. It's very potent in some things like chlorogenic acid and theobromine, all sorts of wonderful things that our bodies really, truly do need. In a nutshell, yerba mate and Unamate, specifically Unamate, increases GLP-1 production by up to 70%. And that's not me saying that. That's Dr. Ben Bickman, one of the world's leading metabolic scientists. 70% increase in GLP-1 production during a fasted state. He's also done published research on it. If you just Google yerba mate supplement exerts beneficial tissue-specific effects on mitochondria, blah, blah, blah. Just start with that and it'll bring it up. That study right there just shows that Unamate helps burn the fat more efficiently. So when you wake up in the morning, you drink one of these. It helps with extending your fast. It helps induce ketosis. It increases your GLP-1. It helps your body burn the fat more efficiently. It's an amazing little drink. So we start off with that. In the United States, in Canada, in Puerto Rico, and Mexico, when we're done with that first one, we drink a second one right away. Just start drinking the second one. Right before you eat, you drink a Balance. The Balance fiber, it's a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers that's paired with a multivitamin. The multivitamin has a full B complex, B6, B9, B12, B9 being folate. Ours is actually folic acid, which is 90% of the daily folate equivalent, DFE, 1,040% of your B12, 410% of your B6. It's also got chromium and zinc and all those. But I mentioned the B vitamins because that B complex is really good for the brain. Dr. Bowden mentioned that she didn't even realize until she wasn't on it that it made her just up here nice and clear. So these two products together, the Balance fiber helps minimize the glycemic effect, if you will. It helps lower the glycemic index. In fact, it's been studied at the home of the glycemic index, the University of Sydney, Australia, by their top professor, Dr. Jenny Bren Miller. Dr. Jenny Bren Miller found that it lowered the glycemic index as well as the insulin index for every test food they put in front of it. It also lowered the overall blood glucose levels as well as the blood insulin levels pretty significantly, 20 to 28% for blood glucose and 13 to 27% for blood insulin. Whew. In addition to that, it was also studied at the Cleveland Clinic. More than 20 years ago, the Cleveland Clinic found that it could potentially replace let me just take their wording verbatim here. And actually, to do that, I want to share a screen. Well, yeah, see, I'm just going to stumble over how to share the screen now. Fiber and multivitamin, here we go. I think I just accidentally stumbled right across it easily. How did that happen? I don't know. This study right here. This was done at the Cleveland Clinic. And it was done in 2002. It was done at the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic. And they tested it against LDL, total cholesterol, HDL. By the way, the Cleveland Clinic is widely perceived to be the top heart hospital in North America. And the Cleveland Clinic concluded such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. That is a very powerful statement from a very prestigious hospital. Now, with that being said, let me do a couple of things. I'm getting a little bit crunched for time, and I have another testimonial I want to bring in here. If you've been invited to this, as in if somebody has tagged you into this live stream and you're interested in ordering the product, get with the person who tagged you. Get with the person who invited you into here. They will show you how to order the product. The product comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. They guarantee your money. If for any reason you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. They'll give all of your money back. What they're guaranteeing is you're going to lower your blood glucose, your A1C, your cholesterol, your lipids panel. They're guaranteeing that. Your blood pressure, your body weight. If you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. They'll give you all the money back. Just try it for 90 days. It's an amazing, and it costs about the price of a cup of coffee per day. It's not exorbitantly expensive. It's about the price of a cup of coffee. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to invite Lynette into here. Now, Dr. Bowden, I'm not going to lie. I don't know Lynette very well at all, and I don't think you do either. Lynette knows Dr. Tiffany Marie.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And so, Lynette, I think I've heard her testimonial before. I'm really excited about this, but we're going to hear this thing for the first time. Hi, Lynette. Let me get you from.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I'm going to give you center stage here. Lynette, tell us about you.
All right. I first want to thank Michelle for her testimony and her transparency. She had me, about to water up, and I'm like, I got to keep myself together. And look, Michelle, I mean, you're the only one that know insulin was a major hormone. I learned it when I became a health coach. And I have learned a whole lot more since then too. So girl, you ain't by yourself at all. But so my name is Lynette Wright-House, and you can call me Coach Nettie. And I'm a graduate of the University of South Florida. I was a dance major. And I'm saying this because I've been active most of my life. I ran track in high school, and then I became a certified Alpha fitness instructor. And then I also an educator in the school system for 30 odd years. And then I became a certified health coach. during the COVID time, because after working with another health and wellness company, I was like, I just need to know more about how I can help myself and other people. And guys, I always say I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm a certified health coach. I'm not a doctor or a naturopathic doctor or anything. I'm a certified health coach, and I can, if we go out of that lane, I can get somebody that can help you. But I have a passion for wanting to serve and help people. So how did I get on this journey? Well, my granddaughters are cheerleaders. They cheer. I say they do more gymnastics than they do cheer. So we took a trip to Virginia, and there I spent the weekend with my I call him my little big brother Johnny, and my little talkative sister Beverly. And Johnny says, hey, I've got this, this protocol that I'm doing. I'm drinking this tea, whatever. And I was like, what? And he was saying, yeah. And he said, I lost 20 some pounds. And I was like, wow. So that hit me, because like I've said, I've been active all my life. But when I turned 50, I had a hysterectomy. And when I had the hysterectomy, my weight started yo-yoing. Before I could just go exercise, drop weight, whatever. It yo-yoed and yo-yoed. And since that was, and I'm now 66. So between 50 to 66, my weight has been going up, up, and up. I was concerned because my mother is deceased now, but she had hypertension in her 30s. And so she was on high blood pressure medicine from her 30s until she died at 79. Got off for a while doing some natural things. So I knew natural stuff worked. And her mother was diabetic. But I decided, after becoming a health coach, I knew that did not have to be my story. And I said, this is not going to be my story. I'm not taking any of those meds. But I knew that I still needed to get it under control, because if you don't get it under control, you can still, guys, have stroke, heart attack, whatever, if your numbers are continuing high. And my blood pressure was rising. It was like 140 over like 90, and maybe sometimes higher. And then my weight was going up. And so when I, got with Johnny, I was like, okay, I had just got on the scale like the month or so before, and the scale said 202 pounds. And I was like, I ain't never worn no 200 pounds in my life. And I mean, I'm skinny legs, small wrists, just not big, but around the belly, that's where most of it was. And I was like, this something has to give. And I, as a health coach, when I went to the doctor, told me I was like borderline hypertension. And I told her I did not want to do any meds. So she suggested that I go see a nutritionist. So I said, okay. So I go to the nutritionist, and the nutritionist, we start charting my diet, what I was eating. And she suggested intermittent fasting. So don't eat anything until 12. And then, you need 1,600 to 2,000 calories being active, and start eating your last meal around, 7 o'clock. Well, then I also realized that I was an undereater, because a lot of people were about being, overeating, or I was an undereater. So it wasn't that I was eating a whole lot. I'm not a bakery person, a lot of cakes and bread. I don't cook bread. I don't do biscuits, none of that. But I'm an undereater, and that will put weight on you as well. But I didn't know how to explain it. Okay, I didn't know how to explain it to my clients, how I've learned so far now. So I said, I've got to do something about it. So with the nutritionist, nothing, it wasn't working. It wasn't working for me. I did it for about a couple of months, and I was like, this is just not working. And I learned that you graze, eat a little bit here, eat a little bit here before the intermittent. And then that's supposed to regulate your weight and this and that and other. I learned that as a health coach. And I'm sure some of y'all have heard that too, not knowing that that's not the best way either. So I said, I was at a standstill. So going back to Johnny, when he told me that, I said, why not? And I think Jim said something earlier about trust your friend. And a lot of us, if you're my friend. I know you have to love me as a friend. So why am I going to steer you wrong? If I'm your sister or I'm your cousin, then why am I going to steer you wrong? And so, and I've, formed a good relationship with Johnny. So I said, okay, I trust him. I'm going to do this. So at the end of May, I start sipping the tea. And, not knowing anything was happening, I'm just sipping. So I could tell some things was loose because, I could tell sometimes you don't have to get on the scale all the time. You can tell by your clothes, you can tell by your undies, you can tell by, because stuff start loosening up. So I said, let me go ahead. My thing. I said, let me go ahead and weigh myself, right? So I got on the scale. And remember, I said I was 202 pounds. I got on the scale, and that scale said 186. I was like, what? I hadn't been able to lose any weight in the last 3 or 4 years. And during COVID, I exercised. I did live exercise classes on COVID.
What was the time frame here?
I was at the end of May, around Mayish time, until June 24th. And so I was excited. My blood pressure, I took my blood pressure. It was down 117/70. And I was excited because now because I was worried about maybe my family might find me, where I stroked out at night and, came to she's not here anymore because she hasn't done anything about this pressure going up. And so I said, wow, this is exciting. And so I was definitely ready to share with people, And so I said, I tell people, don't get on the scale, just, on and off the scale. As my clients, I tell them, I have one client that wants to get on the scale every single day. So I said, I'm not getting back on the scale until, and I said, till the 24th of August. So I decided to get on the scale. I actually got on the scale September 24th. And now I am down to 178. And I'm emotional like Michelle because I know what can happen to the body if it's not operating right. We all know that. But these diseases are silent. So they don't yell out at you and say, hey, I got cholesterol. Hey, they're silent diseases. And I get emotional when I share, especially with my family, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, And so I'm like Michelle in the sense that I'm concerned not just for myself, but for others. And I think Dr. Tiffany and A. Marie and Beverly, Johnny, and Trent, and the information that they give freely, you may make some money here and there, but the information that I have learned is priceless. And this is what I wanted to do as a health coach, because we call it prime time. We're in our prime time when we're about 45 and up, when we start going to the doctor and the doctor starts giving those diagnoses. You've got this, you've got that, you've got this. But I wanted to know how I could help people effectively with that. And I've learned a lot. And I want to continue to learn more so I can help others.
I love this. I love everything that I just heard.
Yes.
I love that story. And thank you. Thank you. I'm shocked. Just in a recap, 3 weeks, 16 pounds in 3 weeks, 25 pounds overall. You were kind of stuck. But what I heard in that was a sense of hopelessness before. And I heard that in Michelle's. And truthfully, I hear that all the time. I think people get to feeling like they're hopeless and helpless. I generally like to open up for questions. We're running a little bit long in the tooth here. We're basically out of time. I want to ask a favor of you, Coach Nettie, and a favor of you, Michelle. And of course, you don't owe me anything at all, so I'm just going to ask the favor and hope you guys oblige. There are a lot of people listening to this live stream that are skeptical. They've been burned They've done something. They've done that yo-yo diet. They've done the whatever the magical elixir is. They bought that. They've done it before, right? And yet here they are listening to us, and they are skeptical. Maybe they're on the fence. Maybe they aren't on the fence. Maybe they're not even close to coming over here. Maybe they're judging coming over here. What, Coach Nettie, what do you say to that person right there?
Wow. I would say again, first of all, I'm God fearing. So trust God. Number one, but he's put that friend in your life for a reason at that moment. So trust that friend, right? And I think Michelle said when she was on TikTok, I think it was, she was scrolling, but it was something that came in her ear from you, and she backed up. If you get that feeling, go ahead and do something about it then, because we already know something is going on with our bodies, whether we want to admit it or not. We already know. So if you got that friend, trust that friend. If you feel like scrolling, it said, "Oh my goodness, let me back up." Stop being, stop waiting and be intentional about your health.
Michelle?
Well, the part of the story that I didn't say, just for time's sake, was I had said that I just got the last denial for the appeals because I thought the GLP-1s were the answer. And I know this was August 15th of 2023. I prayed that night and I just said, I can't do this anymore because I'm so miserable and nothing I did worked, and I just kept gaining weight. I didn't understand why. And so the next day is when I met Jim. So this is what I'm going to tell you if you're on the fence. You have a 90-day money-back guarantee. You have zero to lose. Zero to lose. I always say in my live streams, it's cost neutral because we're not eating a breakfast and we're not snacking. That's $5.30 a day there. If you drink Cokes or energy drinks, or you have vices, or you go and you get a snack at the gas station, you stop at somewhere and get a drink or something, all of that adds up to more than $5 a day. It's more, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. You have to get real with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And if you're tired of being sick and tired, try this. Get with the person that tagged you in this. They did it for a reason. We know this works. Blood, you saw the pictures. Pictures don't lie. Blood work doesn't lie. Science doesn't lie. And there's no easy button to get out of this. Eating too frequently and the wrong foods is what got us to where we are today.
I love it. Guys, I'm Michelle, Coach Nettie, Lynette. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I love that. Dr. Bowden, I think you did pretty good for your first live stream on one of these.
Yay.
You're really good. You're right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Bowden, thank you for filling in for Dr. Tiffany and lending your expertise. I know that you did this. You're not charging or anything. This was free time. This is something you don't normally do. So I really appreciate that. I want to speak for our audience and say thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I want to just throw this out there to everybody real quick. If you were tagged into this live stream, you were tagged into the live stream because somebody thinks that this system could benefit you. Listen to this live stream. Rewind it to the very beginning and listen to the whole live stream and put your best hearing ears on and give this thing a shot. There's nothing to lose, okay? Nothing to lose at all. If it works, wonderful. If it doesn't, get a refund. It's pretty simple. Dr. Bowden, thank you for your time. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful week.